So guys, my name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on a Monday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville. A lot we're going to cover, including the apartment complex Cavalier Crossing down 5th Street Extended, right off of Old Lynchburg Road, wanting more units. The owners of this behemoth, this multifamily behemoth on the city-county line, now want to add an additional 165 units. We're going to talk about that on today's program. Viewers and listeners in the city and in Albemarle County, how do you feel about an out-of-market real estate investment trust wanting to add 165 more units to an apartment complex that has been rebranded the Attain on 5th? No, Judah, not the Taint on 5th, but the Attain on 5th. We'll talk about that on today's program. We will talk, ladies and gentlemen, what the city of Charlottesville needs to do to help the businesses that are around the homeless shelter that's coming to Holiday Drive. I have heard now from 3 businesses on or near Holiday Drive via email, DM, and personal outreach about concerns they have with this 27,000 square foot office building that's on the cusp of being owned by the city and retrofitted into a homeless campus that will be one of the most significant homeless shelters and campuses in the Commonwealth of Virginia by size, scope, and services offered. Does the city of Charlottesville need to offer some kind of infrastructure, outreach, incentive, rebate to the businesses around the Holiday Drive shelter? Those are hotels, that's a steakhouse, and other small businesses. And I'm very curious to see what Albemarle County is going to do with this storyline as well. That topic on today's show. We're going to talk Craig Kent. He is in the news again for a lawsuit that we have affectionately monikered the Kenterprise. I think Judah Wickower came up with that. It's a fantastic brand from a branding specialist in Judah Wickower.
One of our viewers had the same idea.
It's genius.
Yeah.
Let's traditional and legacy media that's watching the program. Your headlines should no longer be the Kent Enterprise lawsuit. Just call it the Kenterprise. Mm-hmm. Call it the Kenterprise. And the Kenterprise, its namesake, Craig Kent, the good doctor, or do we call him the bad doctor, is in the media saying the lawsuit against him and some of his disgraced lieutenants who have moved on to perhaps greener pastures at other institutions of higher education or perhaps more credible hospitalization. He is in the news, Craig Kent, saying that, look, this lawsuit against me is nothing but absurd, baseless, and motivated by greed. I got 2 words for Craig Kent, and these are tough 2 words for a man who's been in a position of power for much of his life, but I'm going to say them anyway. Craig Kent, be quiet. Be quiet. The more you talk, the more you fuel this story. Someone close to Craig Kent, make sure he hears and listens to the advice we will offer him today on the I Love CVille Show. We're going to talk this question: what does Charlottesville City need to do to motivate the business owners that currently have empty storefronts? Excuse me. There's one in particular, and I think I'm being fair and reasonable here. I gave Stefan Freeman significant props and praise on this show when he purchased Ace Biscuit and Barbecue. On the cusp of closing, he saved this business by buying this beloved barbecue joint off of Harris Street from the previous ownership team, which was family. And they were going to close the doors. And Stefan Freeman came in, most certainly purchasing Ace Biscuit and Barbecue for pennies on the dollar that they were asking. But he bought it and he saved the brand, and it's still up and running. He came in and rescued Little John's. He reincarnated Little John's. He owns the recipes. He owns the name. He owns the menu items, the beloved brand Little John's on the UVA corner that I patronized while a student at the University of Virginia from 2000 to 2004. He owns Bonnie and Reed, the seafood house, where beloved chef Chris Humphrey worked for a short period of time. The restaurant was barely open. He got involved with Draft Tap Room, one of the co-owners of Draft Tap Room. He bought Old Metropolitan Hall, the event space, from Travis Wilburn. He owns Vitae Spirits. He owns the sushi joint, Sushi by Yoshi, and the back of Vitae Spirits. And throughout all this, Stefan Freeman, I gave you props and I gave you praise. I highlighted you as a retired venture capitalist who is now has an affinity for food and beverage. I talked about your affinity for sipping cold cocktails and something wet at the bar at Marigold. I talked about how you've become very quickly a proficient and prolific restaurateur in Charlottesville and Albemarle County in Central Virginia, one of the most prolific ones. And that entire time I gave you props and praise. But right now, Stefan Freeman, you have a number of brands and storefronts that are completely deserted and empty. Little John's on the UVA corner, Old Metropolitan Hall, the event space on the downtown mall, Bonnie and Reed on the downtown mall, Draft Tap Room on the downtown mall. And is there something the city of Charlottesville can do to motivate the filling of these empty storefronts? A good example are the 4 that Stefan Freeman has in a small city, 10.2 square miles, Charlottesville, Virginia. We'll have that conversation on today's show. We'll also talk Election Day. It's less than 8 days from now. Scott Smith, who's running in the Samuel Miller District, reached out via text to us to get him on the program. Would have liked that ask to be one of more, can I come on your show, as opposed to more, I'm going to come on your show. Hence why he's on read receipts now, and I haven't responded to the text message. And it is the Republican who is, historically needing to close the gap with the Democrat, is it not?
Yeah.
So maybe leading with kindness is something, a lesson that can be learned here.
He seemed to view it as a fait accompli that you would just automatically bring him on the show.
Two-shot Judah Wickower. Run that by me again? I'm just a simple man that has a way with words.
On.
I'm a simple man that has a way with words. You're the true cosmopolitan and wordsmith over here, Judah Wickower. And I, my friend, yet again, continue to be impressed by you. I took it as an expectation that he was going to come on the show.
Yeah.
Not an ask is what I took it as.
Right.
And hence why he's on read receipt and does not have a response back.
Yeah. In his messages to you, he seemed to take it as a given, a fait accompli, as already as the decision already being made that you would bring him back on, and the question was just when. Right.
I was turned off by that. How I've been turned off by the John Reed camp with the daily text messages to my personal cell phone about coming on the platform.
After canceling with, a day's notice?
After ghosting us with 18 hours notice when he got caught up in the sextortion scandal with Governor Youngkin.
Yeah.
A lot we're going to cover on the broadcast. The Virginia football team gets a victory by inches in Chapel Hill. Bill Belichick soured after he goes for it on a 2-point conversion in overtime, literally 2 or 3 inches short. North Carolina, Virginia steals the victory. They climb up 1 spot to 15 in the polls. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the Jerry and Jerry Show at 10:15 a.m. with Virginia Sports Hall of Famer Jerry Ratcliffe, the namesake of JerryRatcliffe.com. Another multi-million-dollar gift, Judah Wickower, for the Virginia football team. This is the 4th, right?
Yeah, the 4th one.
The 4th multi-million-dollar anonymous contribution to the Virginia football team?
I believe one of those 4 was not anonymous. The other 3, this one included anonymous gifts.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
A outhouse to penthouse climb for Tony Elliott. Shows you money can maybe buy happiness, at least for this football program.
Will it last?
Will it last? We'll talk about that on today's program. We will highlight John and Andrew Vermillion of Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. They've been in business for 61 years. They're located on East High Street. Anything sanitary related, John and Andrew Vermillion at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply can help you with. They have Miele vacuums that are the best vacuums you can buy. They have a mechanic on site to repair and help with any Miele vacuum issues that may arise if it does not fall within warranty. The mechanic can also fix your pool robots for cleaning your pools. They do water testing. Online at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Fantastic website, charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Frictionless, easy-to-use website with in-market delivery, free delivery at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com and on East High Street. Headline most intrigued you and why, Judah Wittkower?
Oh man, I mean, we got some juicy stuff here. We got Craig Kent,
The Kenterprise?
making noise when he should probably be keeping his head down.
Why does the man feel compelled to speak on the record to media? What could possibly be gained by Craig Kent, who walked with millions of dollars from the University of Virginia? I've been told by someone in the know that Craig Kent, hasta luego, swan song, literally rode off into the sunset on his pony named... what's his pony name?
I got nothing.
Racket? Let's call his pony name Racket.
Racketeering?
Short. Levy, short for leverage. I'm just talking off the cuff here. I've been told he walked with a handful of millions of dollars here. And this is public information. We could find this online. Why feel compelled to talk with the Daily Progress? What could be gained with Craig Kent telling the Daily Progress that the lawsuit against me and my lieutenants is absurd, baseless, and motivated by greed?
It would seem that would just give...
it just keeps the news story going, the news cycle going.
Not just fuel for the story, but fuel for the lawsuit. Keep your mouth shut. Just so they have less on you. But,
be quiet.
But I have to figure that somebody in a job like that probably has an outsized ego to match.
You're saying this guy's ego is so large he can't help but put his foot in his mouth? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You might be right, because he's accustomed all his life to getting this, to getting his way. You might be right.
I mean, he was the UVA Health CEO. That's no small position.
Yeah, and came from a position of prominence and power at The Ohio State University to come to the University of Virginia, where he was the highest paid employee tied to the University of Virginia. Now, Tony Elliott and Tony Bennett, the football and basketball coach, surpassed him in income, but that's when you factored in a number of different other profit centers. Craig Kent, when it's literally paid by UVA, the highest paid guy at the University of Virginia. We'll talk that story on today's program. A lot we're going to cover. I think the lead of the show needs to be Cav Crossing. Put the lower third on screen. It's now Attain on Fifth. Have we highlighted that the name leaves a lot to be desired, Judah?
I think we have.
Have we? Is it inappropriate to say Attain on Fifth, Attain on Fifth, reminds me of, or reminds you of,
taint
on Fifth? That's not inappropriate.
Well, there's actually two ways you could take that. Taint is in the rather unmentionable
we know that way, Judy.
part,
yes.
And a taint on Fifth, which just means a bad mark.
There you go. I hadn't even thought about the second one. Or a stain on Fifth.
Yeah.
I saw a stain on Fifth. The branding strategist behind Attain on Fifth, I'm more inclined to call it a stain on Fifth or a taint on Fifth than Attain on Fifth, because I don't understand what Attain on Fifth means. Yeah. Regardless, Attain on Fifth is trying to attain an additional 165 units. Sean Tubbs has got reporting on this. Mm-hmm. Remember, a firm from Northern Virginia, Bonaventure, purchased Cavalier Crossing in May of 2024 for $18 million. This $18 million purchase by an out-of-market REIT was the emotional foundation, the outcry foundation for the loan that the city of Charlottesville gave to Habitat for Humanity to purchase the Carlton Trailer Park. That loan the city of Charlottesville gave to Habitat to purchase the trailer park was in the shadows of a taint on Fifth being purchased by Bonaventure, even though it was in the county. Many in the activist housing community said Albemarle County should have purchased a stain on Fifth and not allowed Bonaventure to rebrand Cave Crossing a taint on Fifth.
Right.
And now Bonaventure is before Albemarle County, and they're asking the Planning Commission, then the Board of Supervisors, can we have an additional 165 units? 165 units. Judah Wickower, what do you make of this story?
Does it matter that Bonaventure is outside of the area?
I personally do not care about that.
Yeah.
I think there would be some people in Charlottesville and Albemarle County in the activist community that would have an issue that it's a big, well-capitalized, out-of-market Goliath gobbling up affordable multifamily apartments and rebranding them and repositioning them as luxury by utilizing lipstick on the pig remodeling strategies. That's how some will position it. I don't really care that some firm from outside the market is putting money into play. That's called capitalism. That's the market. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Keep going with what you're going with, though.
And if the county had bought it, it wouldn't have been just $18 million to purchase the complex, as Bonaventure has put a lot of money into fixing the place up.
A boatload of money.
Yeah.
$18 million to purchase it.
Yeah.
It's a 144-unit apartment complex right on the county city line. Put in millions more to reposition it, to remodel it.
Yeah.
They're adding amenities to it. I mean, they're trying to make it luxury. Now they're trying to go balls to the wall, Judah, and add what? Another $165? Mm-hmm. I mean, your parents live down this road.
5 new buildings.
Your parents live down this road.
Yeah.
165 apartments with we're not just talking a family living in these. We're talking many people with cars living in each unit. I mean, what's the average trip Deep Throat for apartments like this? 6 to 7, 5, 6, 7 a day. I mean, are you talking if you use 165 times 5? And I think that 5 might even be light, because if memory serves, now this could have changed, but how they were previously leased was the Eagles Landing model, where they were leasing individual bedrooms. And those individual bedrooms, if you remember, were rented for about $500 or $600 a month. And then there was that common area where you walked into the apartment that was shared, and each individual bedroom was almost like a studio apartment within an apartment suite. So it was like 4 individual people tied to this one apartment. So you could conceivably have had 1 car per bedroom there.
I think they're moving towards that.
Well, it would make sense, because that's how they maximize profits.
Well, Sean Tubbs' reporting notes that as a safe and financially viable community, renovations and unit conversion away from student suites to 2- and 3-bedroom traditional apartment units was necessary, which may indicate that we're not seeing 4 individual spots in each apartment.
Time will tell. Still a lot of additional vehicle traffic. You in favor of this move?
I mean, we need housing, right? If we say we need housing, then how is this not a good thing? I mean, obviously, as we've spoken before, part of the problem with all of this push for new housing is that we don't see a whole lot in the way of infrastructure. And like you mentioned, it's going to be a lot of cars on Fifth Street Extended.
All right.
How do we plan for that? Is there a plan for that? Is there a plan for how we're going to integrate AstraZeneca and the Biotech Institute? How we're going to integrate, all this stuff coming to our area?
I'm going to get to Deep Throat's comments in a matter of moments. I'm going to try to give the pros and cons to Albemarle County, the Planning Commission. We have Planning Commissioner member watching the program. We also have a supervisor watching the program as we speak. The pros of this is on a bus line. The pros of this is on the county city line. The pros of this, you can get in very short bike or walk or short car ride or short bike or short bus drive to the epicenter of employment, Charlottesville, pretty easily. To UVA, easily.
There's also roads that go back into like the JPA area.
100%. You can get a lot of places here. I lived at the Villas at Southern Ridge. In fact, this firm was founded out of a condo in the Villas at Southern Ridge that's now a rental property nearly 20 years ago. And I found the Villas at Southern Ridge, its proximity to anywhere in Charlottesville and most places in Albemarle County was a hop, skip, and a jump. It was easy peasy, Sunday breezy. The pros of this is where you would want the density to happen. You would want the density to happen right here in the urban ring. The cons of this are as follows. Here are the cons, okay? The elementary school down 5th Street extended, the elementary school down Avon extended, is that Kale? No, is that Mountain View? What are we calling it these days?
It used to be Kale.
I think it's Mountain View. It's at absolute capacity. The elementary school is at absolute capacity, ladies and gentlemen. So to add multifamily in this spot and funnel children to that school where it's beyond capacity and kids are learning in trailers, that's a con. Another con to this, has anyone tried to navigate 5th Street extended at drive-in time or drive-home time, or when the private school, the Covenant School, is dropping kids off or picking kids up before school or after school? 5th Street Extended has become one of those roads that's like the redheaded stepchild or the second cousin of Route 29 or the Diamond Interchange on Pantops. You have a Wawa next to a Tiger gas station, next to the Wegmans shopping center, 5th Street Station. That's an absolute cluster dot quack, quack, quack to get in and out. You have more density being ramrodded into 5th Street Extended and Avon Extended. Eventually, people will ask this question: when does this density that's ramrodded down our throats start impacting quality of life and housing values down 5th Street Extended and Avon Extended? And that's just how it is. Okay? Do I think Albemarle County is going to approve the 165 units at Cab Crossing or a taint on 5th? Yes, I do. And do I think 165 additional apartments at a stain on 5th is going to make that corridor of traffic even more challenging? Yes, I do. Do I think it's going to be a density issue for the elementary school? Yes, I do. Do I think the people that live in the condos, the Woodlands, the villas, live in Mosby Mountain, Mountain Valley Farm, Redfields, Foxcroft, Mill Creek, all those down 5th Street, Avon Extended, are going to be impacted by 800 to 1,000 additional car trips per day? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. This isn't just to tie a bow on it and say this is a huge boon or success for Albemarle County and housing advocates. If anything, this is what? What do the youngsters say? 6'7", 6'7". Have you heard that?
I have heard it.
This is 6'7".
Even mean anything?
It doesn't mean anything. It means literally it means nothing. It's the dumbification of that generation of children. Social media and digital media and this 6'7" phrase, it's a microcosm of the dumbification
we
of
had
the
some
18
pretty
and
dumb
under.
stuff when we were kids.
Oh, I didn't say 6'7".
No. We were copying Beavis and Butthead.
Comments, I was not copying views about it.
Oh, okay.
Conan Owen watching the program, Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. We're working a deal right now where Conan Owen and Sir Speedy of Central Virginia are going to help contribute to
the appearance and the presence of a locally owned and operated business that is coming to the downtown mall. I'm excited to announce the details of a new lease that we are a part of for a food and beverage, a new food and beverage addition to downtown Charlottesville. In a very tiny space, it has mighty upside. And I think Conan's going to help bring that space to market for our clients. He says, build, baby, build. The Charlottesville area transit line to Southwood in this high-density housing area, short drive to Wegmans. I get it. I totally get that, Conan. And your points are on. Your point is applicable, Conan, 100%. I'm also empathetic for the kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth graders that are learning in trailers at Mountain View Elementary. Because that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Deep Throat, number one in the family. He says this. I think the Cav Crossing addition is not a bad idea. Add density where there is already infrastructure for density. Sort of gives us the lie to the idea the development area is full. Existing developments have room for addition, not to mention 11,000 approved and unbuilt units in Albemarle County. He's 100% right. We hear, and I'm gonna add some color and context what Deep Throat is saying. The development area in Albemarle County is 5% allocated development.
Yeah.
We hear from housing advocates. Neil Williamson, the president of the Free Enterprise Forum, is quick to tout this. I hope Neil's watching this program. I love Neil. I respect Neil. We hear from Livable Charlottesville, Matthew Gillikin and the Gillikin Gang, right? Mm-hmm. We hear from PHA and Habitat for Humanity that the 5% allocated for development, we're at capacity. And then we hear that the remaining balance of the 5% that hasn't been developed, the topography is not conducive for development. Deep Throat says, well, we just figured out a way to add 165 units to the development area in Albemarle County. So how are we at capacity? There's multiple other examples. Diantha McKeel, for example, when she was on the program, Jack Jewett supervisor, she's on her way out in the Jack Jewett District Board of Supervisors. The lady that's replacing her, Sally Duncan, is straight up a socialist. At best, she's an activist. Realistically, she's a socialist. Diantha McKeel said, while sitting in that chair over there, that until 29 and the commercial corridor is at capacity, I'm not going to expand the development area. Mm-hmm. One of the best things that could happen for Albemarle County and its region, if you want to preserve green space, this is crazy to say this. Are you ready for this? One of the best things that can happen for Albemarle County, if you like green space and you don't want traffic and you do not want more development, is Mike Pruitt finds a way to win the 5th district seat in Congress. And if Mike Pruitt finds a way to win the 5th district seat in Congress, that won't be decided in next Tuesday in this election cycle. It's the next one. If he finds a way to win, Mike Pruitt is off the Board of Supervisors. He's in Congress. And then the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors will have to replace Pruitt. And Pruitt is about as far left-leaning when it comes to housing and ramrodding development, expanding the development area, and replacing the Glenmore portion, Rivanna Village of the development area, with another piece because the Glenmore neighborhood has kiboshed or limited development at Breezy Hill. If Mike Pruitt wins a seat in Congress, and the odds of him winning that seat are far-fetched, that means he is unable to team with Sally Duncan and perhaps Ned Galloway, and then they would just need one more vote to expand the development area. Good points by Deep Throat. He also adds this, and on the taint, his words, not mine. I think that's going to stick as the new brand. What is the guy, what was the name we came up with on Friday's show? Deeds. Cree, change your socks, Deeds. It is now just Cree, change your socks. You don't like that reference to Mr. Deeds, the Adam Sandler movie?
I never watched the movie, so
you need to watch the movie. It's so good. John Turturro's character just shows up out of nowhere all the time. Change your socks to Adam Sandler, who has feet issues. They're terribly frostbitten, as if memory serves correct. Okay. Deep Throat says, and on the taint, we mentioned when it sold that there was room for more units. This is a hugely missed chance for Albemarle County and Charlottesville to preserve and increase affordable housing in a quick, cheap way instead of sweetheart forgivable loans to the Keystone Cops, PHA and Habitat, with their 400 to 500 square foot building costs. He also adds, and if you get enough commuters at Cab Crossing, you can increase the bus frequency much easier than putting density where there are only narrow roads, single-family homes, no city water and sewer, etc. He says, I would say that the problems on 5th Street are not Cab Crossing or local housing generally, but the incredibly stupid design of the Wawa 5th Street station entrance and exit. 100%. The 5th Street station design is a shopping center built around asphalt parking lots that are never full, that are always vacant. The only one that's full routinely is Wegmans, and that still has plenty of parking for Wegmanians to do their shopping. All the other asphalt parking lot is completely empty. And how
It's
they...
not entirely
Yes, it
true.
is, 100%.
I've seen the...
What, around the movie theater?
Yeah, I've seen that, like, packed all the way to the restaurants.
Okay, so then they have to walk from parking in front of Dick's to the movie theater once in a blue moon when Tom Cruise and Top Gun are showing in the theater. That's the only time.
Okay.
Outside of that, you know that is it Haverty's, the furniture store? Dick's, which is now like a giant Dick's, used to be a small Dick's. It's now a giant Dick's. Not a small Dick's, but a giant Dick's. Is it not?
Yeah.
It's a giant
I
Dick's,
would
not a
imagine.
small Dick's. That right there is always empty, the parking. It's a shopping center built around asphalt. And they built only one entrance and exit on either side of it.
Yeah.
And it's always snarled. Then they slam a Wawa next to it and it's made to order subs. Or are the MTOs sheets and not Wawa? MTOs are Wawa, right? Or are they sheets?
Is that the what they call them?
Made to
MTOs?
order, MTOs, acronym. You go to the one on Pantops, is that a sheets or a Wawa?
It's a Wawa. I've never heard them called MTOs.
Then maybe the MTOs are sheets.
But they do have made to order sandwiches.
Maybe they're MTOs. Neil Williamson, curious of your thoughts on this. Ginny Hu, thank you for the retweet. Michael Guffrey, thank you for watching the program. Philip Dow, his photo on screen. He says, I'm glad I live in green space in Scottsville. Mayor of Scottsville, Philip Dow. Philip Dow, we love you, my friend. We appreciate your comments on the program. We sincerely do that. Jeremy Wilson, you underestimate my sneakiness. That's a line from Mr. Dietz. You should watch that movie. You will love it. It is genuinely hysterical. We encouraged you, was it to watch Home Alone for the first time?
No, I've watched Home Alone.
Have you watched Home Alone before?
Yeah.
Which
I've
is the
seen
movie
Home
you
Alone.
had not watched that we encouraged you to watch?
Good Lord, I don't know.
It was on the list, that things that Judah had not done,
Okay.
that you have not done. Judah's never had a photo taken with him and Santa Claus before in his entire life.
Then I remember.
You would remember that. It would be framed in your house if you had taken a photo with Santa Claus. Families frame photos with their children on old St. Nick's knee. We have dozens of them, and our children are 7 and 2 years old. What was the movie on the things that Judah had not done? There was nothing on there?
I don't have any movies. Watch Yellowstone.
Oh, maybe it was watch Yellowstone. Judah hadn't watched Yellowstone. Okay. Did you see the Taylor Sheridan is sources are saying, at least of this morning, that he's leaving Paramount for NBC Universal? The man's got the Midas touch, the creator of Yellowstone, 1887, 1923, and a number of Paramount hits. Lonnie Murray is watching the program. He says he is speaking as an individual here. And I respect Lonnie Murray and is a smart guy. And I will further caveat that he's not speaking for any board or commission that he's a part of, but he's speaking as an individual here, Lonnie Murray. I'm not going to comment on any specific development for obvious reasons. And I'm speaking as an individual. He wants me to reiterate that. I do think we need to change the way we talk about density. Density has become a dirty word because we associate it with loss of services. What if density wasn't just a measure of housing units or paving? What if density included a density of services? If people associated density with more parks, better schools, better treatment of stormwater and walkability, maybe it would no longer be a dirty word and people wouldn't see more density in their neighborhood as a bad thing. I love that. That's called rebranding. I think the first thing that you need to do when you think of density in planning, my words, density in planning, is to prioritize schools and roads and water and infrastructure and green space before houses, apartments, townhomes, and condos. It seems like common sense to me. One of the reasons my wife and I have chosen to pay for school for our oldest son, and it's expensive. Soup to nuts, roughly 25 grand. We're talking first, second grade here, is because the teacher-student ratio is fantastic. We're talking one to a teacher per 16 kids, and an aide thrown in there as well, along with support staff. We heard a story this weekend about a student in Albemarle County who was in an elementary school and had nearly 30 kids in his class. Nearly 30 kids. When you have one school that's teaching one teacher with an aide and support staff and 16 kids, and another school that has nearly 30 kids, one teacher, and no support staff, then you have an educational gap. Next story, Ray Cadell is watching the program, his photo on screen. I'm sure I would have filled in his swimming pool. He goes, I'm sure I would have filled in our swimming pool years ago without technical expertise and advice from Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply are the good guys. Oh, Randy O'Neill making a joke on the Dick's Sporting Goods and the taint on 5th Street. And then he takes it a step further with a line that I just cannot relay on this show. I don't mind living in the gray area of PG-13, but once PG-13 goes into the R, then I can't, I get chastised by the wife and also the moms watching this program that says, I just get chastised. And I don't want the mom wrath. I don't want the mom wrath on the show. It's one of our key demographics is the moms. Curtis Shaver watching the program. Made to order his sheets. He says, get the schwings. Get the schwings. Curtis Shaver knows sandwiches like Craig Kent knows bullying. So-so.
White collar crime. Do we go that far?
I didn't want to go that far, but you took it there. And I'd say yours is better than mine. So we're going to go with Judas. Bill McChesney, I don't want a building next door that blocks the sun. I think that's the tagline for the YIMBY, yes, for the NIMBY movement, the No in My Backyard movement. I don't want a building next door that blocks my sun. John Blair, I think Cavalier Crossing's proposed expansion is interesting from a planning, zoning perspective. If these apartments are approved, I think we've got a serious policy question. Crozet is in the same growth area designation as the southern growth area, but why is it that every project in Crozet always seems to get scotched or radically reduced, but you don't see that in urban ring growth area? I think that's a serious policy question for Albemarle planning commissioners and supervisors. We have one planning commissioner and 2 supervisors watching the program. Actually, 2 planning commissioners watching the program right now and 2 supervisors. This is a question for the viewers and listeners. You should write this down as a topic for tomorrow's show. I have my answer ready to go. You ready? Why does every project in Crozet face resistance and get reduced? You got to paraphrase this. I'll come up with it more succinctly for tomorrow. But John asks, why does every project in Crozet get scotched or radically reduced, but the projects in the southern area of Albemarle County, 5th Street Extended, Avon Extended, get greenlit and rubber stamped? This is a great question. Who is the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors? Who is the supervisor that represents the Scottsville District, Avon Extended, 5th Street Extended? Mike Pruitt.
Yeah.
Who's the one that represents Crozet? Ann Malik. Mike Pruitt he's watching the program, actually. Supervisor Pruitt, you should come on the program. We'll talk about your run for Congress. We'll give you props. Supervisor Pruitt, what's he known for? Housing advocacy, density. His job is literally, he's a housing advocate attorney.
Yeah.
Ann Malik, what's she known for? The antithesis, the opposite. There's one answer. Here's another answer for you. The folks that live in Crozet, Old Trail, and these are new bloods. This isn't the OG. They have galvanized and strategized to much more significant levels because they don't recognize their community anymore. They're also people of means and financial resources, highly educated. The folks that are living down 5th Street Extended and Avon Extended, you have more tenants. You have tenants in there, certainly at a higher clip or frequency than in Crozet. You have a larger population of ESL, English as a second language, Southwood, Hispanic population. You have more of a transient population down 5th Street and Avon Extended than you do Crozet. And because of this transient population, this renter population, this ESL Hispanic population, less financial resources, you have less organization, less strategization, I just made up a word, against development.
Less of a voice.
Less of a voice. I saw that firsthand with Glenmore when I was living in Glenmore for 4 years. I watched like 30 or 40 homeowners in Glenmore. These were all like C-suite or retirees that were once in positions of power, put one of the most aggressive plans in place to keep Breezy Hill from materializing. I was in the back rooms. I watched it happen. And I was like, good God, these 30 people are in a war room and they're putting a plan together that is incredible. There's no way Breezy Hill is going to materialize how Southern Development wants Breezy to be. And the Glenmore 30 Voices won. It was an incredible plan. Incredible plan. I'll tell you the most organized and strategized of all the areas is Ivy. That's the Samuel Miller District. The people in the Samuel Miller District, they just bought up all the land. Those people just own tracts and land, acres and acres of land.
Yeah.
And they put them in, what are those things called? What's they called? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this. Conservation easements. Conservation easements, a voluntary agreement between a landowner and a government agency or nonprofit land trust that permanently limits future development on a property to protect its conservation values, such as scenic, natural, or historic features, or they just slap some pigs and some cattle on their acreage and call it a farm and get the farm use tax credits out of it. And there's so many people in Ivy that just got some horses or some cattle or some chickens or some pigs on there and call it a farm. All right, 1:18. I got a 1:30 call with the CPA. Next phone call. What do you got, Judah Wicker?
Oh, let's see. We've got how can the city help businesses near the new homeless shelter?
Okay, let me ask you this question. If Charlottesville, and it looks like they're going to follow through on this.
They don't really have much choice.
They don't have much choice. $6.2 million for a 27,000 square foot office building, and then millions more. It'll be north of $10 million to outfit the former Lakeland Tours building that you see from the bypass and turn it into a homeless campus. One of the most significant homeless campuses in the Commonwealth of Virginia will be on the Albemarle County Charlottesville City line right next to the Rivanna Trail. Some call the Rivanna Trail the homeless Route 29, on a bus stop adjacent to hotels and a steakhouse. Does the city of Charlottesville need to do something to incentivize or preserve or protect, help the businesses around this Commonwealth significant homeless shelter that's coming down the pike?
What if they extended that dead end into a walkway, an overpass for pedestrians, like they've done on 29?
Okay.
So that the houseless population is not moving. Well, I mean, they would still obviously have the option of going in the other direction towards 29 and going past the hotels and the Aberdeen Barn, but they would also have the option of going straight across to the trail that runs perpendicular.
So you're basically saying do a bridge across the bypass, which will funnel traffic into the city over the bypass and on this bridge.
I was thinking a bridge over that tail end of hydraulic as it hits the bypass.
That's not a bad idea.
And,
okay, let me ask you this question sincerely and straightforwardly. Should the city hall do something to help the businesses around the homeless shelter?
Potentially, but I would
That's
need
the
to
safest answer I've ever heard.
Well, I would have to hear what you're...
I'm asking you.
I just gave.
So no, you gave an. I'm asking you a straightforward question.
Should they do?
Is it the city's responsibility to olive branch help protect the businesses around this 27,000 square foot homeless shelter? Yes or no?
I lean towards yes.
I agree. If Charlottesville is going to spend taxpayer dollars to build a 27,000 square foot homeless campus with wraparound services, with beds, with shelters, with computer labs, with laundry facilities, addiction counseling, drug counseling, alcohol counseling, a hangout area, a library, resume building, they're basically creating an apartment complex. They're creating a campus with lodging for the 200 to 250 homeless people. Some folks say if you build it, they will come and it will attract more. I agree that the hotels, the steakhouse, the businesses around this shelter should be concerned. And I agree that the outfit and retrofit of this shelter should include perhaps a tree line blockade around it, landscaping, bushes, trees, those green monsters, those bushes, those trees that grow quickly, that offer extreme visibility protection and noise protection. I think they should figure out some feng shui funneling of loitering, keeping loitering and lingering heading in one direction, the feng shui of it. Soundproofing. Deep Throat says the same thing that they should be doing in the downtown, they should be doing around that shelter. He says, enforce the laws against harassment, public intoxication, and decent exposure. Anything that is legitimately breaking the law should be enforced and lead to hasta luego.
Yeah. I mean, we're essentially talking about exporting the problems that the downtown mall has to those businesses around Holiday Drive.
Yeah. And Albemarle County residents that are watching this program, this is also much closer to Albemarle County. The storyline that's kind of not being highlighted here is how close this is to Albemarle County. Does that then funnel the 200 to 240 houseless down Route 29? The medians? The shopping centers? Now, the shopping center point is they're privately owned, unlike the downtown mall, so they can boot people or ring them up for trespassing.
I think one thing we have to remember is that the downtown mall still has the Haven. You've still got the food kitchen over here. You've got the Presbyterian Church that does soup meals.
But you're going to have those kind of food offerings offered at this homeless campus. You're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner offered there.
You sure?
Oh yeah, wraparound services include food.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just washing of your tidy whities.
No,
and addiction counseling. You're going to have to eat.
Not all the houseless population is going to want to go over there.
That's fair.
Not all of them are going to want to find new places to ask for money.
But the houseless population will be incentivized to go there by the wraparound services that are offered.
Some of them.
James Watson says, what are some of the other things the city could do? Do they go as far as offering transient TOT lodging tax and meals tax abatement or reduction? Here's a straightforward question for Deep Throat, James Watson, John Blair, the viewers and listeners that are watching our Fine and Fair talk show. While the construction is going on for a 27,000 square foot homeless facility that is going to be more campus than shelter, does the city of Charlottesville need to offer the businesses that are within half a mile, whatever the radius is, of this 27,000 square foot facility, tax abatements? Steakhouse, you can easily do meals tax reduction. Lodging tax, can it do that? Will it do that? Should it do that?
You're talking about only during construction?
Or a time period after it's come online?
While we see what the effects are?
Exactly. If I was the businesses that are around this shelter, I would be quickly creating a co-op, essentially a business version of an HOA. I'd organize it immediately. I'd talk with somebody like me that can get you marketing collateral, messaging,
put you in positions of influence, has a platform, get the voice out to the community rapidly. And I'd say, look, we want to give a hand out to these people, not a hand up, but a hand out. No, a hand up, not a hand out. I've said this phrase so many times, I'm confusing it. We want to help these folks. We empathize with their plight. We're also concerned about our businesses. As a result, we very humbly, the businesses that are around Holiday Drive, ask you to do this with your build-out, tree line landscaping, certain kinds of windows, enforce the loitering, the harassment, indecent exposure, drunkenness in public, anything like that. And we want a tax abatement program for this period of time.
So something like the Friends of Downtown Charlottesville.
I mean, you can point to so many examples of this.
I would also push to get a plan in place that will think about what's going to happen. Council should be theorizing what the changes are going to mean for those businesses, and be prepared when the time comes to they've made it clear that they won't do a camping ban until the shelter is in place.
Deep Throat says this. That's a question for John Blair, what you're saying. Virginia Constitution is pretty clear on uniform property taxation. I've wondered that as well. John, are there potential incentives the city can offer for this area of property that is not uniform across the city, the same incentives offered? Now, the downtown mall will push back on it and say, if you do this for Holiday Drive, then you screwed us for the last 5 years because you didn't offer it to these 8 blocks, and your police department and your city hall are on these 8 blocks. What the F?
Yeah.
Like if I was on the downtown mall and I was Rapture, or if I was Zocalo, or if I was Petit Pois, and I was like, wait, you're going to offer this incentive program or abatement program for the folks who are on Holiday Drive, and you didn't do the exact same for us on the downtown mall for the last 5 years? That's some BS.
The difference being that they are actively doing something now to find a place for the houseless.
100%.
And before it was, I mean, it's
100%.
It's the city's own fault for not having any regulation
100%.
that the police can work under.
And also the difference is now is they're luring the 200 to 250 people to this one spot where before they just turned a blind eye.
Yeah.
And did nothing. Mm-hmm. So that's the response to the folks in the downtown mall that say, hey, that's bogus.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on today's program. I got a 1:30 phone call here, so that means I got 90 seconds on today's show. I want to give some love to Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. If you need a custom hardscape done at your house, it's Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. Tim Hess is the local designer. He is fabulous. His office on the downtown mall. We were there today at his office.
Yeah.
That office is nice. Mm-hmm. Overlooks the downtown mall.
Yeah.
He's got an awesome office in the old Wells Fargo building.
Yeah.
Tim Hess and Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes, ladies and gentlemen, are who you call for any custom hardscape related outdoor kitchens, fire pits around your swimming pool, anything. He is the best of the best, ladies and gentlemen, the best of the best. Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. All right, with 60 seconds left in the program, I want to highlight that another anonymous donation came to the University of Virginia football team. They are now 15 in the country, Virginia football, and in the driver's seat to play for an ACC championship. This Virginia football team, the impact, economic impact, social impact, admissions impact, the brand equity it's building for Charlottesville and Albemarle County, do not underestimate what's happening here. Economic impact, social impact, admissions impact, political impact, Charlottesville and Albemarle brand impact. This is just not about beating Bill Belichick in Chapel Hill in overtime, winning a game by 2 or 3 inches. The North Carolina Tar Heel just had to reach a little further to touch a pylon. This is about resuscitating and helping recover a Charlottesville and Albemarle County brand that still is not itself post-COVID. We'll talk about this at 10:15 a.m. tomorrow on the Jerry and Jerry Show with a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe, that's followed the program for 50 years. No one's better suited to talk about this than Jerry Ratcliffe, the namesake of JerryRatcliffe.com. Judah Wickower, yours truly, Jerry Miller. My phone is ringing right now.